Well, good morning once again. It's a nice, bright, clear sky today. We're about 39 degrees. Supposed to get up to about 70, I think the forecast said. So it's going to be a pretty pleasant day. I'm back here working on this water tank building, and I've got a little excavation to do. That's why I've been working on this backhoe, and I think I'm going to try to get that done today. I'm going to give you just a brief view of the horizon here. Sun's coming up out of the east, and just show you just how pleasant it is out here and why I enjoy it so much. Well, this is looking kind of north, and as I pan here, we'll head toward the west. You can kind of see our building down there and our pole barn. Just what a bright, clear sky today is. So my water tank is inside this building, as you know, and my outlet, I'm going to come out right into this corner here. So what I want to do is excavate a hole under here, because I'm going to go down 6 feet to get below frost line. I initially thought maybe I was just going to bury that, but you know, I mentioned earlier I'm going to put a 12-volt operated heat tape around this pipe. Well, you know, things do fail, and that heat tape could fail, so I want an access to that in case I have to replace that, and I'll insulate and all that. I'm going to actually build a framework here that this pipe will go down into. These are 8 inches wide, and I looked up R value of wood. 8 inches should give me an R value of about 9, and then I'll add some insulation around that pipe to boot. So that's what I want to do is right here, but I have to go underneath the building, so I'm going to side shift this building, and I think I've got enough room that I can get the backhoe in here and dig out my hole. So I've got, about a strong 3 foot, almost 4 feet here. I can shift this building over here up next to the fence, and then I can get to that, dig my hole, put in my framework, then I'll slide the building back over into position. That's kind of my thought. So I've got a chain stretched out here. I did bring a piece of rubber tire wire. I'm going to fish underneath, and I'm going to hook it to a 4x4 on the other end and bring my pickup around here, and I can just slide this sideways. When I move this building up, I use the tractor. Hopefully the pickup will work. I've got all these 6x8s in the back, so I've got some good weight. It's a dually, 4-wheel drive, so I think down at low range I'm going to be able to just slide this sideways and open up my spot to where I can dig my hole. I'll fish my wire under here, and I can grab my chain. I'm going to wrap it around this 4x4. That's how I drug it up here. Yeah, I don't feel I can reach this. Looks like I got a spectator this morning. Cow's coming down to water again. Yeah, this is where my outside skid is. I want to put the inside of my box right under that. So I'm going to open this up a little wider, kind of about in here somewhere, what I'm kind of thinking. Kind of like so. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've done this. if you have a leak on a hose, I'm not quite sure where. I'm going to work a little bit on it here. But yeah, I got to figure this out again. The air out of this, but I see I don't quite. Well, I'm going to try that and see if that doesn't get kind of close. I got to get down in the hole and we'll see. Well, see how deep I am here. I was going to go 60 inches, 5 feet to my timbers. Let's see. About the bottom of my solid here, across my beams, I've got, I got 65. If I eyeball across where my supports are going to be, Yeah, between 64 and 65, so I'm a little deeper. So if I go down just another couple inches and go to 66 here on this corner, I'll just have to add one more beam. So I'm pretty close here. That's 60, kind of where I put 65 and a half, eyeball across. So I'm going to take and start my bottom tier here. I've got a level here. I'll lay out my first one, so where my end beam, these ties are actually, they're salvaged, trying to remember what they are, guardrail posts, that's what they are. They come off of guardrails that have been replaced. And I picked them up just for the haul, and I got maybe 150, 60 of them or something like that. They're all 64 inches long, 6 inches by 8 inches. They're all treated, and I've used a lot of them around here. They're really pretty handy. So they're going to withstand relatively dry climate here. And it has a little bit of R value, but I want to get this water line out of this corner 6 feet down, and then I'm going to take it down to where the pen is going to be for these cows for the winter. So anyway, I'll get these ties kind of started out. So I notched all these. Got a bunch of these, like say they were 64 inches. I just cut these in half. They're 32. I've got them notched in 1.5 inches. So 29 inches is what I'm going to have inside, which should give me enough room to navigate, and I'll have about 4 feet in there. So I think hope it'll work. And these will be what goes down each side. My ends are going to notch into here, so when I backfill all this is going to lock together. Ends and sides all going to, should make a pretty stout little well or pit, or I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I was looking at possibly buying some culvert, 24, 30 inch, and I got to thinking I've got all of these treated ties, so the price is right, and I think they'll last a long time. I got some company here. Little guys are always curious. Got one just peeking around the corner here. Oh, I spooked them off. Well, I got my bottom tier pretty much in. I think I'm kind of level. This is the one that took the most time in fitting. So I'll get this built up. I'm going to come up just to the level of the skids underneath the shed, and then I'll pull it back over. So this half of this hole is where I'll drop my pipe from the water tank inside. I'll drop down 6 feet, and I'll go underneath this wall. It'll end up being a full 6.5 foot. Then I'll be about 5.5 feet. Then I'll trench it down to where I'm going to put the shed for the winter, and I'll have a frost-free hydrant down in there. So from here, it should be just Lincoln logs. I'm just going to build it up, kind of tamp in around the sides a little bit as I go, kind of fill it back up, and I'll move the shed back over the top of it. Like so, all the way up. I think it'll work. Kind of backfill as I go. And we'll get a tamping bar. I'll kind of tamp this in as I come up. I like watching paint dry, isn't it? Build it up, tamp it in. So since this is all the ties that I prepared, I'm one tier short since I went one tier deeper. I'll have to go back to the shop and notch out one more layer. So I'll probably just put a top on this so my calves don't get in here and kind of, you know, make it so it's not an open pit. And see if I get back yet today. If not, I'll do it here another day. But kind of fun putting together. This building's going to slide back over top of this, and my outlet will go down 6 feet, and then I'm going to take it down to where the corral and the shelter for the winter is going to be. So anyway, kind of fun digging in the dirt. Thanks for following along.